Hello again to all my friends, math lovers everywhere. It is Mr. Benjamin here. As always, smiling, happy to be here. Today we're looking at chapters 4 and 8. It's going to be kind of weird how we teach these ones because they're going to be together because they're both looking at patterns and rules. So this is our intro to patterns and rules. And we've got several different images here, some of them more visually appealing than others. For example, I love this flower, these leaves right here. You've got green and purple in a nice little spiral, almost. Like, what a great color combination. And this is stuff that you can see in real life. Like, how incredible is that? And there's math involved. That's the scary part. No, not really. Don't worry about it. And one of my favorite animals, over here we have a zebra. At least a section of a zebra. I don't know where the rest of it is. But you can see the black and white stripes, and that is a pattern. Black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white, blah, 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 blah. And finally, down here in this image, I'm going to try to make it a bit bigger. We're going to be looking at it again, but you can see for now at least, you've got different, ooh, that's a big marker there. Different figures with different numbers, and these are all patterns as well. Now let's undo all that, see if we can make it back to the regular size. There you go. Because right here is the sign that you can't see, etc., 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 etc. Learning goals for today. So we are going to identify and describe number patterns. Now that means we'll usually have a set of numbers. Remember, this is numbers, or number in this case, not hashtag. Duh. Erase that. Not hashtag. We're going to identify and describe number patterns. In addition to that, we're also going to recognize patterns and use rules to extend and create different patterns. So for all of these, we'll have a set of numbers 4, 8, 12, 16, and we'll look at it and we'll be like, well, there's a pattern there. What's our pattern? Every time we go up by 4, every time, plus 4, plus 4. And this can work backwards as well. So if we have, say, 20, 18, 16, 14. Each time we are losing 2, so we are subtracting 2. It can also work for multiplication as well. If we go 2, 4, no, let's get a better example. Let's do 6, 6, 12, 18, 24, etc., 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 etc. Definitions for today. We have two terms that we need to, or two definitions. The first of which is a sequence. So a sequence is just a set of numbers. So for example, on the previous page I had written out 4, 8, 12, 16. We can keep that going, 20, 24, etc., etc., etc. etc. This is a sequence, a set of numbers or things, it can be anything really, that is arranged in order, one after another, according to some form of rule. Okay? Now, a term is each number or item in a sequence. So, for example, in this sequence up here, you could say that the number 12 is a term, or the number 20, or the number 4. Any one of those numbers, those are terms. So where do we see patterns? We actually see patterns everywhere. A couple images that we've already seen, this beautiful yellow, or excuse me, not yellow, green and purple flowers. We have our zebras, a lot of different animals. You can think of leopards, cheetahs, they all have spots. Tigers have stripes. These are all patterns. We also have, I'm going to make this a bit bigger. Let me try to pick it out first. Whoa. We have constellations. Constellations are naturally occurring patterns in the sky. We see them at night. Now, depending on how far north you are, how clear your sky is, you might see more than others. But for the most part, we usually see the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper at night. I know for sure I see the Big Dipper where I am, and I can see it very, very clearly. A lot of people can see Orion or Orion's belt, the 3 dots beside each other, the 3 stars beside each other. But these are all naturally occurring patterns. We also have man-made patterns. So for example, if we look at these shoes here, this is just some individuals putting their shoes together. And it looks really, really, really cool. Now they're all very similar styles of shoes, and they also create a nice little circle here. See? but these are all patterns. You can look at street signs. This street sign is of a checkered board. So you can also think of a checkers or chessboard. That's also a pattern. You can look at how bricks are laid. These bricks are laid at different levels. That creates a pattern. It's also more strength for each brick. These bricks on the bottom here are in a circular pattern. Now each brick, or each stone in this case, needs to be laid in a specific position. That one needs to be there, that one needs to be there, that one needs to be there. And these all create patterns. Now some of these patterns are for aesthetics, meaning it's how they look. For example, this one right here. Others are for structure. For example, these bricks. These bricks are laid out this way so they are stronger, so they can support more weight. But they're all patterns. Let's look at an example of some number patterns. So if you think about our age, you start off as a baby and then you have your first birthday and you turn into a 1-year-old. Then a year after that, you're 2. A year after that, you're 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way. Some people have longer years, longer lives, other people have shorter lives. But the bottom line is, you're always going +1. So the rule for this case, rule for your age is +1. Every year you become a year older. Your height. So when you're born, you're very small. You're usually, I don't know, maybe a foot tall, maybe 1.5 feet. 1 foot. And as you age, you become taller. You could be 2 feet. You could jump up to 4 feet. Some people jump up to 6 or even 7 feet. Now for this one, there's no specific rule or pattern. No rule / we'll say identifiable pattern. That's your long word of the day, and I think I spelled it wrong too, but that's okay. Identify. Well, I'm sure someone will correct me tomorrow. But we know that it's always plus addition, at least while you're young. When you get older, you might start to lose some height, in which case it might turn into subtraction. Your income, when you get a job, which will be very soon for some of you, you generally start off at a low wage. Say, for example, maybe $10 per hour. As you work, though, you might get more money. You might end up at $12 per hour. You could go to $20 an hour. I apologize if you can't see this part. You could have an annual income, a yearly rate. Maybe you're making approximately $50,000. Oh, it sounds like a lot of money. You'll get there one day, don't worry. Could even end up at $100,000. This is all based on your performance, if it's a raise. These are patterns that you see in everyday life. We get into some specific examples on how to identify patterns. Let's look at these numbers here. This first one, number 1. Starting off at 4, then we go up to 8, then 12, then 16. So each time we are moving up by 4, +4. Over here, +4. Over here, +4. So our rule is just +4. Adding 4 each time. Sometimes we will have gaps in our numbers, in our sequences, and we kind of have to try to identify what numbers could be in there. Sometimes we use guess and check, sometimes we use logic. Let's take a look. If we start off at 5, 5 is our first digit, and our 4th digit is 20. We have to have 2 numbers that fit in here. Now, obviously, these numbers, well, maybe not obviously, but chances are these numbers are going to be between 5 and 20, right? Because 5 looks like our lowest term, 20 looks like our highest term, and then they keep going up until 40. So let's think about it. Think about some numbers that are between 5 and 20. Well, I think 10 is between 5 and 20. Let's write 10 here. Maybe now, between 5 and 10, let's write 8. So here we go +3, and here +2, and here +10? Question mark, confused face. That really doesn't work out, so let's erase that. Let's try 10 here. So here we're going up by 5, plus 5. Maybe we can go up another 5, plus 5. We get 15. Now it's kind of starting to look at 5, 10, 15, 20. We're going up by 5 each time, plus 5, plus 5. This will be 25, 30, 35, plus 5 is 40. So we got a rule here. Rule, plus 5. Let's put a box around that. Rule plus 4, rule plus 5. Other times, the rules might not be addition. It could be something different. So let's look at this pattern down at the bottom here. From 1 to 3, okay, that could be plus 2. From 3 to 9, that could be plus 6. From 9 to 27, that's plus 18. This seems kind of weird. Plus 2, plus 6, plus 18. Let's not worry about addition right now. There's two ways to go up to add numbers. You can either add or you can multiply. Let's try multiplying. From 1 to 3, we're going to multiply by 3. From 3 to 9, we're going to multiply by 3. 9 to 27, we're going to multiply by 3. So our rule in this case is multiplied by 3. Sometimes you will get figures instead of just numbers. So for example, if we look at A, we're starting off with 2 blue dots, then we get 2 more, up to 4, then we're at 6 more, or excuse me, 2 more up to 6, 8, then 10. Each time we go to a new figure, we are adding 2, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. So our rule is plus 2. Over here, down at the bottom, we start off at 3, go to 6, 9, 12, 15. We are adding 3 each time, plus 3. So our rule is plus 3. This one down at the bottom, this one's a little different. We're going to start off at 9. Okay, then we're going to go to 18. So we're adding 9. That's a big jump. Next time, we're also adding 9, a huge jump. So our rule is plus 9. Now that one seems really large, but patterns can take place that way as well. So try this for today. I want you to find as many naturally occurring patterns as you can. So for example, I talked about constellations, I talked about stripes on animals, and sometimes on leaves or plants as well. See how many you can find. The next, try this. This one's kind of difficult, I'll be honest. So it's okay if you can't get it, but we will talk about it in class tomorrow. So describe the rule for this pattern. And the pattern goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 6, 11, 20, 37, 68. It takes a huge jump over here at the end. It's like, what happened? Now I'm going to open this up on the next page as well. 0, 1, 2, 3, 6, 11, 20, 37, 68. And I'll give you one hint. Your hint is 0 plus 1 equals 1. That doesn't sound like much of a hint right now, but hopefully this will give you an idea of what the rest of it is. Okay, and I'm going to say good luck. As always, I'm going to say thank you. I think I'm probably time to change, or it's probably time. Change my color on this, so let's see what else we got here. Let's go with a nice pen. No, I think I've used that one before. How about gray? Let's see how gray looks. Gray on blue is pretty cool. Thank you, big face. Bye-bye.